Devarim, or Deuteronomy, chapters 8 through 10. Guard to do every command which I command you today, that you might live, and shall increase, and go in, and shall possess the land of which Yehovah swore to your fathers. And you shall remember that Yehovah your Elohim led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble you, to prove you, to know what's in your heart, whether you guard his commands or not. And he humbled you and let you suffer hunger, fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, to make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yehovah. Your garments did not wear out on you, nor did your foot swell these 40 years. Thus you shall know in your heart that as a man disciplines his son, so Yehovah your Elohim disciplines you. Therefore you shall guard the commandments of Yehovah your Elohim, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For Yehovah your Elohim is bringing you into a good land, a land of streams of water, of fountains and springs that flow out of valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive oil and honey, a land in which you eat bread without scarcity, in which you do not lack at all, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you dig copper. And you shall eat and be satisfied, and shall bless Yehovah your Elohim for the good land which he has given you. Be on guard, lest you forget Yehovah your Elohim by not guarding his commands and his right rulings and his laws which I command you today. Lest you eat and shall be satisfied, and build lovely houses, and shall dwell in them, and your herds and your flocks increase, and your silver and your gold are increased, and all that you have is increased, that your heart then becomes lifted up, and you forget Yehovah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim from the house of bondage, who led you through that great and awesome wilderness, fiery serpents and scorpions and thirst, where there was no water, who brought water for you out of the flinty rock, who fed you in the wilderness with manna, which your fathers did not know, in order to humble you and to try you, to do you good in the end. Then you shall say in your heart, my power and the strength of my hand have made for me this wealth. But you shall remember Yehovah your Elohim, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, in order to establish his covenant, which he swore to your fathers, as it is today. And it shall be, if you by any means forget Yehovah your Elohim, and follow other mighty ones, and serve them, and bow yourself to them, I've warned you this day that you shall certainly perish, like the nations which Yehovah is destroying before you. So you are to perish, because you did not obey the voice of Yehovah your Elohim. Chapter 9. Hear, O Israel, you are passing over the Jordan today to go in to dispossess nations greater and stronger than yourself, cities great and walled up to the heavens, a people great and tall, the descendants of the Anakim, whom you know, and of whom you've heard it said, who does stand before the descendants of Anak? And you shall know today that Yehovah your Elohim is he who is passing over before you as a consuming fire. He does destroy them and subdue them before you. So you shall dispossess them and destroy them quickly, as Yehovah has said to you. Do not think in your heart, after Yehovah your Elohim has driven them out before you, saying, oh, because of my righteousness, Yehovah has brought me in to possess this land. But it's because of the wrong of these nations that Yehovah is driving them out from before you. It's not because of your righteousness or the uprightness of your heart that you go in to possess their land, but because of the wrong of these nations that Yehovah your Elohim drives them out from before you, in order to establish the word which Yehovah swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Yaakov. And you shall know that Yehovah your Elohim is not giving you this good land to possess because of your righteousness, for you're a stiff-necked people. Remember, do not forget how you provoked to wrath Yehovah your Elohim in the wilderness. From the day that you came out of the land of Mitzrayim until you came to this place, you've been rebellious against Yehovah. Even in the Horeb, you made Yehovah wroth, so that Yehovah was enraged with you to destroy you. When I went up into the mountain to receive the tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant, which Yehovah made with you, and I stayed on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights, I did not eat bread, nor did I drink water. Then Yehovah gave me the 2 tablets of stone written with the finger of Elohim, and on them were all the words which Yehovah had spoken to you on the mountain from the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And it came to be at the end of 40 days and 40 nights that Yehovah gave me the 2 tablets of stone, the tablets of the covenant. Then Yehovah said to me, arise and go down quickly from here, for your people whom you brought out of Mitzrayim have acted corruptly. They've quickly turned aside from the way in which I commanded them. They made for themselves a molded image. And Yehovah spoke to me, saying, I've seen these people, and look, they're a stiff-necked people. Leave me alone, that I destroy them and blot out their name from under the heavens, and make of you a nation stronger and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire, and the 2 tablets of the covenant were in my hands. And I looked, and I saw that you had sinned against Yehovah your Elohim, and had made for yourselves a molded calf. You had quickly turned aside from the way which Yehovah had commanded you. And I took the 2 tablets and threw them out of my 2 hands and broke them before your eyes. And I fell down before Yehovah as at the first 40 days and 40 nights. I did not eat bread, and I did not drink water, because of all your sins, which you committed in doing evil in the eyes of Yehovah, to provoke him. For I was afraid of the displeasure and rage with which Yehovah was wroth with you to destroy you. But Yehovah listened to me that time once more. And Yehovah was very enraged with Aaron to destroy him. So I prayed for Aaron at that time also. And I took your sin, the calf which you had made, and burned it with fire, and crushed it, and ground it very small until it was fine as dust. And I threw its dust into the stream that came down from the mountain. And at Teverah and Massah, and at Kibroth, Hattah, Awah, you made Yehovah wroth. And when Yehovah sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, go up and possess the land which I have given you, then you rebelled against the mouth of Yehovah your Elohim, and you neither trusted him nor listened to his voice. You have been rebellious against Yehovah from the day that I knew you. So I fell down before Yehovah the 40 days and 40 nights, for I fell down because Yehovah said he would destroy you. And I prayed to Yehovah and said, O Master Yehovah, do not destroy your people and your inheritance, whom you've ransomed in your greatness, whom you've brought out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand. Remember your servants, Abraham and Yitzhak and Yaakov. Do not look on the stubbornness of this people or on their wrong or on their sin, lest the land from which you brought us should say, because Yehovah was not able to bring them to the land which he promised them, and because he hated them, he brought them out to kill them in the wilderness. And they are your people and your inheritance, whom you brought out by your great power and by your stretched arm. Chapter 10. At that time Yehovah said to me, hew for yourself 2 tablets of stone like the first, and come up to me on the mountain, and you shall make for yourself an ark of wood. Then I write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which you broke, and you shall put them in the ark. So I made an ark of acacia wood, hewed 2 tablets of stone like the first, and went up the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hand. And he wrote on the tablets, according to the first writing, the 10 words, which Yehovah had spoken to you in the mountain from the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. Then Yehovah gave them to me, and I turned and came down from the mountain and put the tablets in the ark which I had made. And they are there, as Yehovah commanded me. Now the children of Israel set out from the wells of Beni Yaakan to Moserah. Aaron died there, and he was buried there. And Eleazar his son became priest in his place. From there they set out to Gudgodah, and from Gudgodah to Yotbathah, a land of rivers and water. At that time Yehovah separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of Yehovah, to stand before Yehovah, to serve him, and to bless his name to this day. Therefore Levi has no portion, no inheritance with his brothers. Yehovah is his inheritance, as Yehovah your Elohim promised him. And I stayed in the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, and Yehovah heard me at that time also. And Yehovah chose not to destroy you. And Yehovah said to me, arise and go before the people, to set out and let them go in and possess the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. And now, Israel, what is Yehovah your Elohim asking of you? But to fear Yehovah your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve Yehovah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being, to guard the commandments of Yehovah and his laws, which I command you today, for your good. See, the heavens and the heaven of heavens belongs to Yehovah your Elohim, also to the earth with all that is in it. Yehovah delighted only in your fathers to love them. And he chose their seed after them, you above all peoples, as it is today. And you shall circumcise the foreskin of your heart, and harden your neck no more. For Yehovah your Elohim is Elohim of mighty ones and master of masters, the great El, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality nor takes a bribe. He executes right ruling for the fatherless and the widow, and loves the sojourner, giving him food and a garment. And you shall love the sojourner, for you were sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim. Fear Yehovah your Elohim, serve him and cling to him, and swear by his name. He is your praise, and he is your Elohim, who has done for you these great and awesome deeds which your eyes have seen. Your fathers went down to Mitzrayim with 70 beings, and now Yehovah your Elohim has made you as numerous as the stars of the heavens.